So, stepping into this business, for every one of us, it's the same story. It's a million different pathways into wrestling, and they all come to the same point, and they traverse a lot of the same highways. For me, it was in that 8th grade match that my friends and I had put on, I guess, the world's first backyard wrestling show. And we got the pleasure, the distinct opportunity, and really blessing to meet a guy named Douglas HOF. That was a multi-time world tag team champion, had been all over the world, had put Australia in what was then called WCW on the map. Many, many wrestlers have told me this about Dominic. He was Bruno Sammartino in Australia before the living legend. He was the Pete Rose of professional wrestling. The fact that he's not, and I guess it's going to segue with this kind of stuff, the reason I still do this is because I love professional wrestling. I love it. Now let me make a delineation for you. I love professional wrestling, and I cannot stand sports entertainment. I never looked at Douglas HOF or Bruno Sammartino, Larry Zbyszko, or any of the myriad of incredible talents that I've had the chance to work with and learn from over the years. I never looked at a single one of them. Harley Race, Ricky Steamboat, Bill Watts, Eddie Gilbert, Black Bart. Never looked at any of them as sports entertainers. They were great professional wrestlers. So when I got that opportunity to get my foot in the door, and this is sounding like I'm making this up, I had zero thought on ever being a professional wrestler. Again, because I didn't know how you could even do that. How could a kid that grew up where I grew up? Where's the front door? Who do you go talk to? An absolute impossibility. Remember, there's no internet in those days, right? So this was a very, very close fraternity. And I met Dominic. And then Dominic sent me on the road, not because I wanted to be a pro wrestler, not that I didn't at that point. I didn't think I could be good enough to be a professional wrestler. I mean, watching those guys on television, they were phenomenal. I remember watching Bret Hart as in the younger part of his career. And us, Mick Foley and I, and a bunch of the other students at Dominic School thinking, yeah, we're great for Beaver County in Pennsylvania, but we ain't like those guys, right? And you get the chance to go on the road. Douglas HOF had told me last summer, right before he died, that we're sitting on his porch having a glass of wine, and he pointed down a long driveway to the gate, and his mailbox next to it, and he said to me, right down there is where your mother and father came to ask me not to train you if you didn't go to college. Now, I know it's a legit story because way back then, Dominic said those exact words to me, I won't train you unless you go to college. And I said to him, not that my mom and dad didn't get along, but they were divorced. I never in my lifetime saw my mother and father do anything together. And the fact that they had come to Dominic's house and stayed down there and said that to him, told you how much concern they had for me, their son, right? That I was going to be the first in the family to go to college. And honest to God, my thought was, because I had no reference point, I'll be in Bethany, West Virginia. I'll do the best I can, and when I flunk out, I'll go and do something else. I'd only asked Dominic to train me because I knew in going to college, I was not going to any longer be involved in athletics, football, wrestling, because I was going to be concentrating on studying. When I came out of Bethany, $77,000 in school loans, back in the 80s was like $77 million to me. You get 6 months, college students here tonight, you get about 6 months of deferment, and then the bank's wanting their money. Well, I had a month and a half, and zero job prospects. Bill Watts had Eddie Gilbert call and say, offer me a position to come down. And I said yes, because I needed a job. But I also thought, like in 6, 7 months when the economy picks back up, I'll go back to Pennsylvania and get involved in government, management, whatever it was in my field. And here we are 40 years later, standing here, being offered a Hall of Fame. It's, to me, absolutely surreal. Because again, if you don't get into wrestling, even believing you can win a match, because that's what Harley does. That's what Bruno Sammartino did. That's what Dominic does. You're just a snot-nosed kid. You're just in this to help get those guys over. So to think that back then I could even believe in being a champion or winning a match, and certainly standing in a ring with my peers here and saying, welcome to the Hall of Fame. Now, you all know that there is another Hall of Fame. If anybody's here, anybody heard my comments on the podcast about Vince McMahon's Hall of Fame? If you haven't, I urge you to all go back to them. Every single syllable is a shoot. I have zero desire to be in the WWE Hall of Fame. And there's a few reasons why. First of all, it ain't a real place, right? It's Vince McMahon sitting there, I think I can make money with her this year, so we'll put her in. My trainer, Dominic DeNucci, not there. The Pete Rose of professional wrestling, not there. I would never, even though he's going to disrespect my trainer that way. And quite frankly, I don't feel that I want to accept something from Vince McMahon because Vince has had zero to do with the success of my career. I was the guy that rarely went there and didn't like it when I was there. So for me, a Hall of Fame like this, in an intimate place, with real professional wrestling fans, not sports entertainment fans. Woo! Standing in a ring with real professional wrestlers, no sports entertainers, and fans like you, because this is the part that we never speak about, right? ECW, everybody knows my career from there. Had a lot of great opportunities. But what made ECW work? Guys like you, lady like this. It was wrestling fans. There wasn't a single sports entertainment fan in the ECW arena. We tried really, really hard to bring wrestling back to professional wrestling. And we got real close. There was a certain Irishman in Connecticut that was a little bit concerned about us. So he took Paul Heyman and stuck the knife in, end of ECW. But I remember, I'll always remember, that it's guys and men and women like you, wrestling fans like you, wrestlers like this, that made ECW. That's what ECW was all about. Had nothing to do with, I'll tell you Vince's words. When he would see me, he would say about ECW, hey, when you were in the minor leagues, when you were in the bingo hall company, when you were in the blood and guts company, the small pond. Where's a hard can here for me to look into, make sure I can say this right to the right person. Over here. Hey Vince, when's the last time you heard a WWF chant in 2023? Here's what ECW fans do. They chant, let me hear it. ECW! Louder! ECW! And that, Vince, is my message to you. We own the legacy. You guys own the legacy. Professional wrestling fans, professional wrestlers own that legacy. Vince, you just got a name and paid a hell of a lot of money for it. Because guys like me aren't here to be sports entertainers, ain't sure as hell gonna be kissing in the Irishman's ass. But I stand before you today humbled to my core. Honest to God, humbled to my core. That I've been recognized by my peers, not Vince McMahon. Recognized by you fans, not Vince McMahon. Recognized by professional wrestling fans just like me that love professional wrestling, can eat, sleep, breathe professional wrestling, the good stuff, no sports entertainment, Vince. So I want to pull something out for all of you. You've come here, you've paid your hard-earned dollars to watch us wrestle. But you need to look around at each other, because it's faces like yours that have saved this business with ECW. And I maintain we'll save it again. You've got to let them know what you will accept, and let them know by switching away when you see that god-awful sports entertainment. But it's companies like this, promotions like this, fans like you, wrestlers like this, that ultimately 40 years ago, the reason I got into professional wrestling and why I stayed in professional wrestling when I was a teacher, when I was accepted in medical school. Yes, Dick Flair is legit, I'll show you the paperwork. But the answer is this, because everybody asks me all the time, When you were accepted to medical school, why didn't you go? You worked your butt off to get there. When you were teaching and you loved teaching, why didn't you stay in teaching? The answer's so simple, it's brilliant, right? Because I love professional wrestling. And to be standing here accepting a Hall of Fame from fans like Morrow, because Morrow is the same thing as Pittsburgh, it's the same thing as Wheeling, as Charleston, as Washington, as Portland, as Memphis. You guys are wrestling fans. This is the backbone of America. It's time for us to stand up and remember that we are the country. And in a microcosm, we, all of us, you guys, this building, this town, we own the legacy of professional wrestling forever. And Vince, ain't a damn thing you can do about it. Woo! You all know my feelings for my brothers upstairs, Bam Bam and Chris Candido. I accept this tonight for those guys because they were both way, way better than I was. They were machines. And we got to be the triple threat. And what it feels like today to be standing in a building like Morrow and hearing fans chant by memory ECW, when again you don't hear anything about WWF, UWF, Memphis, WWF, WCW, NWA. All great promotions in their own way. But the company that spent 5,000% less money than those guys did, ECW, was created by you guys. We got the ones that he blessed to step into the building and get to perform it. And in my case, get to be the big mouth for that dressing room? Are you kidding me? But I mean, look back at my career. Where was I? 11 years into my career. 11 years under Dominic DeNucci. 11 years having Bruno Sammartino whisper things in my ear. 11 years of Bill Watts spitting in my face, screaming at me that I couldn't stand. But it was never calling me jerk or idiot. It was, don't do this, don't do that. Because that's what bad wrestlers do. And with working with guys, I'd love to mention, indulge me for just another minute, because each and every one of them are responsible for this. And I owe them my entire career. Working with guys like Pistol Pez Watley, Black Bart, Dick Slater, Dick Murdoch, Eddie Gilbert, Terry Taylor, and all the myriad of other talents that went through there, but went from there into the NWA, taught the belly to belly by Magnum TA. Ever heard of Magnum TA? Learned from Dusty Rhodes, the American Dream. Worked with guys like Ricky Steamboat, and Brian Pillman, and Steve Austin, and George South, and. And then from there into ECW, at some soon point down in my career, and I used to be so stupid, I thought, being a heel is just opposite of doing the baby face, right? If the baby face smiles and does this, the heel just growls and does something different. If it was only that easy. But first program in ECW, you couldn't ask for a better one. Ever heard of Terry Funk? Right? One of the greatest heels of professional history. And an incredible locker room back there that all had the same goal. The same goal was the same professional wrestling. So we'd all had a gullet full of the politics. To me, I'd seen it as a cancer then, I see it as a cancer now. But I was just at that point seen as the industry as what they would say was a middle of the card, white meat baby face. Guys this good looking don't get to be heels, right? So there was all these things that were flying in the face. Sabu had been told he was too small. Raven was told didn't quite have it. Taz was told he had a sucky gimmick, and he didn't until he became Taz, right? Paul Heyman had been told, as a Jewish kid, you really don't belong here. Todd Gordon, similar things. Sandman was told, you don't have it, whatever it is. If there's anybody in our sport that had it, ever seen Sandman's entrance, the greatest entrance in wrestling history? Right? He had it. So we had all had a belly full of that. That's why today I don't want to be in their Hall of Fame. Because to me it ain't Hall of Fame. By the way, there's whispers we're hearing that next year they're going to put ECW in, because it's in Philadelphia, in a group setting. So you guys get in the basement. I can guarantee you that you can all hold me to account, especially you guys, right? I know one guy that ain't going to be there, because I believe that we've all earned the right to stand at that podium, just like Hulk Hogan's had, just like Dick Flair's had. Francine deserves to stand at that podium by herself. Sabu certainly deserves to be there. Taz deserves to be there. Tommy Dreamer, Sandman, Paul Heyman as a booker. We earned that right. Ain't no basement Hall of Fame for me in the WWE. But the Hall of Fame from companies like this that you guys have created and supported, that you guys are doing just like the ECW fans all those years ago did, saving professional wrestling, trying to flush sports entertainment. All I can tell you is for these guys, these men and women in this dressing room, spread the word out. Next time, bring a few friends with you and watch what we do together with you to save this sport. I could go on all night, but I want to say thank you to my two brothers upstairs. If you allow me to introduce them for you, as I always do. What do you think, Mauro? You want to hear that? Weighing 464 and 1/4 pounds, he is the best big man in the history of the business. He stands in above head and shoulders of all the other big men. He's from Asbury Park, New Jersey. Men and women from Morrow, Ohio, put your hands together for the big man upstairs, the beast from the east, Mr. Bam Bam Bigelow. Weighing 232 and 3/4 pounds from Spring Lake, New Jersey. He is the best technician in the history of our business. He was better than he believed he was. Ladies and gentlemen, from Spring Lake, New Jersey, upstairs a Bam Bam tonight and a sellout. I give you Mr. No Gimmicks Needed, Chris Candido. Possibly can say it. Thank you guys. Thank every one of you. Thank the business of professional wrestling. Thank towns like Morrow, because Snot-Nosed Kid from New Brighton, the same thing as Morrow. I love you all. I love you all. I love you all. I love all you all. I love professional wrestling. Let's have a hell of a show, everybody. What do you say?